What's good, everybody? It's that time of year again, and yeah, we are going to be doing my 2021 musical notables. So, yeah, this is going to be just kind of a collection of different projects, songs, artists that I enjoyed throughout the year, and giving like small little thoughts about what has come through, and hopefully we can find some things that we enjoyed that we have in common. Yeah. So before I get into it, I do want to thank everybody who have joined me on Patreon. So I'm gonna have them scroll through. We did get that started this year, so that's a pretty big highlight. So thanks to everyone who's been supporting me there and getting daily content given to them. And yeah, this has been a major growth year. I mean, we reached 400 subscribers now, and yeah, I'm planning on trying to do a little bit more around here. So try and grow the channel a bit more. I know I don't do anything super fancy on the editing side of things, but I hope it's been a good year. But let's get into what this whole thing is about. The top album songs and stuff like this. And yeah, it was tough to narrow a lot of this stuff down. I've listened to some of these tracks and albums over and over and over again, trying to rack my brain how to rank these. But yeah, so to start off, the Topeka local rap album. And the Topeka scene, I'm going to list off what my favorite album was. And the honorable mention is going to have to be, even though he's technically not in Topeka anymore, is going to be Lyric Reddick's project, Becoming Heavy is the Crown. This album here was super fantastic. Everything that I was able to get from it was really, really dope. But there was one project that I just thought was a bit better, and I returned to it a little bit more. And that happens to be one that's more recent. It's Joyland from Stick Figure and Conductor Williams. And I guess it's ironic because he technically isn't in Topeka anymore either, but these are the people who started out there, so that's kind of how I kind of view it. But yeah, super fantastic project. All of these projects will be will have reviews to them, by the way. If anyone's curious, all of this stuff is going to be albums that I have done reviews to or reactions. So yeah, up next, the next category is going to the Tampa side of things. So going more towards Florida, and the honorable mention here is going to be Lovesick Black Summer by YZM. Yism just put together a fantastic project and really showed that he was like trying to do something bigger than he's done before, and still got to show his versatile taste, and the subject matter of a lot of the tracks kind of got to be nice and varied, and I loved a lot of what he brought to that project. But there was one project that I enjoyed a bit more, and that happened to be Robbed by Gats. So that is the winner of today's local rap album favorite one there. Just from top to bottom, it was just very, very well written and produced. It was a very, very strong project that just made me love his slick style, and the way he approached it all was super dope. Up next, we're gonna go to independent collaboration, and in this, I have another honorable mention. Not every one of these have honorable mentions, but some of these, I told you it's been a tough year. A lot of these things just need to be mentioned. When it comes to independent artists that collabed, it's got to be Jason Chu and Alan Z, Face Value. Very, 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 very fantastic project. Really capitalize on trying to prevent Asian hate, and just kind of giving the perspective of the Asian American experience, and I think that was a very, very amazing project that they were able to do a lot for throughout throughout the year. It did slow down a little bit once it got closer to winter, and like the latter half of fall, but they've got a bunch of cool videos for it, and everything that they've been able to do and showcase throughout this album has been awesome. But there was one more collaboration in the independent scene that I just dug a little bit more, and that was Still Joyland with Stick Figure and Conductor Williams. So props to you guys. You just made a great album. Up next, mainstream collaboration. So for this, we got another kind of honorable mention. So it's weird to say this is a mainstream, since technically, like, it's done through kind of more of an independent label than a huge part of the conglomerate, but it was for a huge mainstream project, and that would be the 88 Rising Shang-Chi Ten Ring soundtrack. So yeah, it's kind of weird to kind of throw this here, which is another reason why I kind of put it as a collaboration. But there were a lot of different collaborations that you probably wouldn't get to see otherwise, that happened in this project. So there, to be able to see the DPRs in there, to see BB in there, Nicki, Warren Hugh, Seori. It's so many different cool collaborations and different groups working together to make this big epic event even grander, to be able to have them soundtrack this. It's cool. But one collaboration in the mainstream scene just takes the cake, and it happens to be one that no one expected but should have known it was gonna be just spectacular, and that is An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic. Like, that whole album, their collaboration together was just magnificent, and it's undeniable to know that. For the independent scenes, R&B album. Now this one I don't actually have an honorable mention, since I this is a side that I didn't get to dive into as much. So the person that I have for this happens to be Queen Herbie's A Woman. She finally dropped a full-length album, and it was great. Like, it just really got to showcase her style from top to bottom, and got to show the fantastic co-production with Nick Noonan. It was great. Truly a great work of art that got to show her be vulnerable, got to show her be confident, got to show her have fun, and I just gotta give her props on that. Now, on the mainstream album sense of things, I do have an honorable mention this time, and it happens to be Tinashe's 333. This album was super, super good, super, super like broad spectrum of sounds, you know, because you know Tinashe does the pop, she does the R&B, she has different styles that she ends up you know performing, and this showed it super, super well. There's like hardly any songs to skip at all in there. It's just greatness. But one album I enjoyed a bit more happens to be Trying Not to Think About It by JoJo. This album, this EP, like this one, I couldn't find any skips. Like even with the tiny little inserts in between some of the songs, like Sugar and Carbs, and you know the sound bath section, like it's all of it is so good. Like this album I had on repeat for many a days, and yeah, it just took the cake right there. And the independent pop album scene, I decided to put some more 88 Rising on here. So Stephanie Poetry with AM/PM, I thought it was a fantastic project. This EP from beginning to end was just a delight to listen to, and it's just some really great pop music. And then on the mainstream side of things, we do have an honorable mention here. It may be weird to some people to put her here, but I definitely consider her more so a pop act, even if she is definitely a rapper as well. But Doja Cat, Planet Her. This project was just great. She really like leveled up the presentation that she was able to bring with Hot Pink, and you know she had a lot of great hits from this, being stuff like that, especially like Kiss Me More, You Right, Get Into It, yeah. She's a woman. Like there's a huge list of songs on this project that I really did enjoy. But one pop album I feel just did it better, and that is Alessia Cara's In the Meantime. This is another album that I feel was just great from start to finish, no skips. It showed so many different cool sides, like flavors of pop music, and her writing in it was just so on point this time. You know, with her songwriting, it's always been really good, but I feel like she just crystallized and purified it in a way that was just, you know, better than she's done before, and I just got to applaud that, and that's why it's my pick for my favorite mainstream pop album. Now let's head over to the K-pop side of things. K-pop album for a group. This is also got I gotta to give my honorable mentions because there is so much, especially since K-pop is what I listened to the most of this year, to be 100% honest. But yeah, so it was really hard to narrow this down. But when I think about like albums that I just went right back to and listened to the whole thing, just on repeat, even after going on to other projects, these are ones that I return to super often. So the honorable mention for this one has to be Only One of's Instinct Part 1. Part 2 is coming soon. Ooh. But yeah, this project, even though it's only 4 tracks if you're just listening to the digital version, every single one of those tracks just it explores the pop sound in a way that many other groups don't, because they just have this brand of sexy that not a lot of groups really bring, and I loved every second of it. And yeah, props to them, like as the members and even the producer Jin Jung, despite all of the nonsense that he had with Luna. But you know, when it comes to music, he knows what he's doing. But there's an album that I feel was just a little bit better, and that happens to be Red Velvet's Queendom. Another one with just no skips. But I mean, I know it's an EP, which makes it a little bit easier, but it's also somewhat harder to make sure every single song is gonna be on point. Like if you're gonna have an EP, you gotta make sure every song on it hits, and this does it with the fun of and classiness and grandness and elegance of Queendom, and then you get Better Be with the little funky kind of Janet R&B pop groove, and then you got the soul of Hello Sunset, and it, like the whole project it was automatically on my album of the year like list to like as soon as I heard it. So yeah, it was on the contender list and as soon as I heard it, and so it maintained that status throughout the year. But K-pop album for Soloist, my runner-up, my honorable mention has to be Wheeon's Red. This is the first like EP length solo for Wheeon, and I think she knocked it out the park. And her going a little bit more, like even though she kept some kind of poppy songs in there, it definitely leaned towards the R&B direction, and I feel like she just murks this style. Like she kills it, and I loved every single song on here as well. But there was one more project that I also loved every single song of, and I just returned to a bit more than Red, and that happens to be Yugyeom's debut EP, Point of View You. This project was pure R&B throughout, and I just was here for all of it. And it even like has some of my favorite songs that I've been listening to this year. It's just well crafted. Now, for Kpop Song, we're gonna go ahead and dilute it to a single song in K-pop that I just have to give props to. So the honorable mention for this one is gonna actually come from Only One Up's project, Byredo. Man, I came back to this song so much, and it's just how all the production and the sexiness and the vocal delivery, everything in it just was super like imaginative and ear candy, and it's just I loved it. But you know, when I have to think of like what K-pop really typically sounds like, I had to give this one the win. And I feel like it just kind of embodies the true essence of what like the K-pop sound is and what it can be, and just does super well. And that is Stacey's ASAP. I know a lot of people love Stereotype, and I do too, but ASAP for me took the cake. It was the song that I heard from the teaser. I was like, I'm gonna love this. And I just gotta say, Black Eyed Peas Song know how to freaking compose a song, and the girls know how to deliver it. They know how to sing it so well. Like this, I listened to this so much, I was able to start just replaying the song in my brain. Like every single detail of the beat would play in my head, and I just say, this song is ingrained. I love this song, and there's been so many K-pop songs. Like I have a full-on list of like songs that I just loved and was like saying, yo, these are like song of the year material for me. And and like it was so hard to narrow it down, but these are the two that I wanted to mention. Byredo is pretty much like second place, and then ASAP as my favorite K-pop song of the year. And boy, there are a lot of fantastic K-pop songs, and I wish I could mention everything, but we must move on. So, independent rap. On the independent rap album side of things, I'm actually going to keep in line with what I mentioned earlier, and stick with the actual local albums. So my honorable mention is Gats Robbed, and then my winner for this is Stick Figure and Conductor Williams Joyland. Yeah, I dig these so much, and yeah, I know there's a lot of other independent rap albums that you don't have to deal with local scenes that I've been around, but these are the ones that I return to the most, so therefore they're my winners. But if we move on to the mainstream side of things, on the rap side, my honorable mention, and there's been some pretty decent mainstream rap albums this year. I mean, even though it's still far and few in between, there have been some really great drops. But my honorable mention will have to be J. Cole's The Off Season. I really, really, really love this album from beginning to end. Cole was just rapping on another level. The beats were just on point, and like it definitely has some of my favorite songs that I've heard, like favorite rap songs this year. But one album just did me better and had me return to it a little bit more, and just fall in love with the production more, fall in love with the bars more, and it was even just a little bit more adventurous. And it's funny that both of them are almost kind of mixtape-ish, but the one that beat J. Cole is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler the Creator. This album to me was so dope. Like it was just produced like immaculately. The sample choices, the beat switch ups, the rapping, the singing, the voice manipulation, like the vocal production and the features, like it was just great. It was great. I was all here for this season of Tyler, man. Like Tyler was on fire with this project, and like even watching him get to perform these songs too, where it was just a sight to see, and everything that came along with this album was just super top notch. And yeah, that's why it's my mainstream rap album of the year. Now we're gonna get into a throwback album. So with a throwback album, it means like the album with the throwback vibes that just gave it to me the best. And you're probably already guessing what it is. You're right. It's Silk Sonic with An Evening with Silk Sonic. I mean, can you deny it? It captured that soul sound so well. So well. Now, for a comeback album, so with comeback album, now that I do K-pop, I always kind of do this, put this in my list, comeback album, because I mean it in kind of the Western sense of it, of the phrase, where they've been gone for a while and now they're back, and it kind of fits their name, since it's Hiatus Coyote. So yeah. Mood Valiant. This album, to find out that they were finally going to be coming back this year made me so happy. The album had brought that same amount of adventurous, adventurous approach to R&B and soul that I always really enjoyed. That added that little bit of jazz, that little bit of rock, that soul. It's just everything that you know I love from them, and they brought it in spades, and that made me really, really, really happy. So yeah, I just got to say that it was definitely my favorite album that had people, you know, come back from a break from music. So up next is Curveball Album. Now usually this would be an album from an artist that I've known for a while, that kind of subverted my expectations, but this time I'm giving it to an artist that I haven't really heard of, but when I finally got to check it out, it surprised me. So I'm kind of changing the context of the category this year. I just didn't want to, you know, get rid of it, like I had to do with another category like surprise album. To me, there was no real surprise drops on us this year, but there was an album that did throw me for a loop. I didn't expect the sound to be the way it was when I was going to check out this artist, and that's DPR Ian with Mood Swings in This Order. I did not expect his sound to be the way it is, because it's definitely kind of like indie pop rock, kind of like in between. I didn't expect that kind of sound from him at all, but he did super well. I love so many songs on this. There's barely anything on here to skip, and I just gotta give it props for throwing me for a loop. I was just like, oh wow, I did not expect this, and for it to be this amazing. So up next, as we are slowly getting back to kind of Korean culture here, the K-pop soloist to watch. So for me, my favorite soloist to watch, outside of this honorable mention, CL, because she's CL and she came back in full force this year. She's definitely an honorable mention right here. She did amazing this year. She's been all over the place. She's been killing it. She is back in full force. She ain't playing no games. But there's been one artist, one soloist that has been a bit more fascinating to watch, and that's BB. This year, BB also has just been everywhere. She's been featuring on so many things. She's got to tour. She's got to finally perform in the US at the 88 Rising Head in the Clouds festival. She's got to work with them and drop a English single with them. And BB dropped the EP, and she's just been all over the place, and it's been fascinating to watch just how big she's getting in such quick, quick amount of time. So yeah, amazing. Now, my favorite K-pop group to watch this year. Now we get to the group side of things. There's one group that I have to give an honorable mention to, because it's been fantastic to see them, and it's still when I think of everything that they've done this year, it's amazing to know that they debuted this year, and that's Pixie. Pixie came in full force. They decided, we're gonna come in swinging. All Art has done so much for this group. They dropped with Wings, then came through with Let Me Know, then came through with Addicted and Bewitched. And the thing is, in between that, they also had all the fantastic choreography, the music videos, performance videos for not only the title tracks, but also for tracks like The Moon, and extra videos for Moonlight. And it's they've been killing it. Each of the EPs were fantastic as well because they don't have any skips on those either. They have English versions. They had a lyric version for a fan song for Winksy. Like they've been killing it, and it's been amazing to watch them this year. They're truly like some of my favorite girls that I've been able to watch this year. But one group I do have to say has had a bit of a better year than they've had, and it's because they're from the big three, but they've also just been doing phenomenal, and that has to be ITZY. ITZY this year threw me for a loop with Mafia in the Morning. They had the English version of Not Shy, the English album, so they had all the English versions of the title tracks on there. They killed that. They've been really pushing, in both, the Western market and in the U.S. They had the Guess Who album, as I already mentioned that, not Guess Who, Crazy in Love album. Their first full-length album, and that was also stellar with the tracks that they've had on it, and just the girls themselves are just always been amazing. Their interview on Jesse Showterview, it's everything that they've done. I believe I think this year they even had like the interview with IU that was really great. It's been fun to watch ITZY and codename ITZY both seasons. Like ITZY's been like one of my favorite groups to watch this year. But there's so many more, but I try to limit what I can to not keep this super long. So let's move on to the rapper to watch. So this one is an interesting pick, at least for my honorable mention. And I have to say it's Audrey Nuna. To see her kind of like finally drop an album and see what she's up to, and see a couple of interviews that she's had, and hear her story of her growth in her artistry has been really, really fascinating. But there is a rapper that has been even more fascinating to watch, that we've been able to watch for many a years, and just see what in the world is going to happen with this guy next, and that happens to be Kanye West. Watching him this year has been very, very interesting, with Donda coming through and everything around that. The interviews that he's had, especially like the Drink Champs interview, and what that all brought, and just kind of like trying to understand his mindset now has been very, very, very fascinating, and see the what he's been able to create through finally releasing Donda and it being reworked, and the deluxe version dropping of that later this year too. And it was kind of something that you just couldn't keep your eyes off of. The beef with Drake and everything, like he was the rapper to watch. He was definitely my favorite rapper to watch. What in the world was gonna even happen next? So let's move on to the singer side of things. Now for this, we got some people who I've mentioned earlier in this list, and my honorable mention is JoJo. Seeing how she's transitioned from the Good to Know era to the Trying Not to Think About It era, and the different interviews and the things she's been talking about more with mental health and all that good stuff, and just seeing her performances and knowing she's finally getting ready to go back on the road again. Like just seeing her was fantastic to watch, and just the music she's been releasing has been fantastic as well. I mean, you saw one on my favorite R&B album, but there is one artist that has been a little bit more fascinating to watch, and once again, I just gotta mention she's also a rapper, Doja Cat. Like, seeing her this year just continue to be a tour de force and featuring everywhere. Like, she's been killing the features, being on every viral moment, like every viral song, and you know, I'm getting ripped tonight. R.I.P. that. Like, being on that song, being on Best Friend. Best Friend. She a real bad chick. Got her own car. Then she don't need no lick. Like, Doja, even with her own hits, she's been everywhere. And seeing her speak out about getting a little burnt out on doing the extra stuff too, and just wanting to be able to kind of get back to the music a bit, and not always have to do the photo shoots and the interviews, and just seeing her as a person just in general, as we move to this way more social media laden celebrity age. It's so interesting to see how she navigates it all, being that she is extremely integrated through the internet, because that's kind of what helped her blow up, and she still never tries to deny that whole aspect of her day-to-day life. She engages herself in it like just as much as before, and I think that's really amazing to see, which also I think lends to her continue to have virality throughout the different social media, IG and TikTok, and YouTube too. But yeah, so had to watch her this year. Now let's move on to K-pop rookie to watch. So I always want to point out some rookies, the debut groups of the year. And boy, this year has had so many spectacular debuts. I have to give many honorable mentions. So it's crazy to think this, but Purple Kiss technically debuted this year. Yeah, they had some pre-debut songs from last year, but Purple Kiss debuted this year, and they've been amazing all year. Both projects, digital single. Billy debuted this year, coming up in the rear. They have had an amazing debut project. No skips on that mug whatsoever. And yeah, Billy killed it, got Sean added to it immediately, and dropped a Christmas single and everything. Like, they killed it. Ive, another amazing debut. Only had 2 songs, but like, they definitely show that they are going to be huge. They have the attention of everybody right now. Gotta watch them. Another debut group, rookie, Hot Issue. Love them. The people, the producer who brought Hot Issue for a minute, or that right? I think that's right. Yeah, ended up being the force behind Hot Issue. Their debut album was amazing. Only 1 song on there that I didn't particularly care for, and then their comeback, even though it was only 2 songs, were 2 flipping amazing songs, hard songs. Their choreo is spectacular. The song, Hot Candy, dog. The song does something to me. Like, it's in Purple as well, from their debut album. Is Hot Issue. Have to mention them. I'm so sorry. This section is just so cram-packed with debut groups. But like, these rookies, I cannot fail to mention. They just killed it. But the one that has to be my favorite, you've heard it before, Pixie. Pixie They took the top spot. They're the ones that have captured me the most throughout the entire year, with the music, the choreo, especially the choreo. Like, these girls know how to freaking move. Like, and you see like what they've been able to do with each track that they've dropped. Like, it is amazing. With the intro plus Wings, that whole performance, the performance you get to see with Let Me Know, the performance you get to see with The Moon, the performance you get to see with Addicted, the performance you get to see with Bewitched. Like, you cannot deny the amazingness of Pixie. And I have to give them my favorite K-pop rookies to watch this year. But I also had to give some honorable mentions to the other ladies who have also just killed it. And yeah, let's move on to my favorite K-pop debut album. I'm going to give another honorable mention, which may surprise some people, but when it comes to debut albums, Point of View, You by Yugyeom is definitely one I have to mention, especially since it's my favorite soloist project. And I mean, Yugyeom killed it. But one debut album took the top spot for me, and it may surprise you. It may surprise you, but the debut album that was my favorite this year has to be Billy, Village of Perception Chapter 1. Like, as mentioned before when I mentioned it, their album has absolutely no skips, and it's so adventurous. Every single song has so many different styles, and you get to hear the vocals, you get to hear the rapping, the production is just immaculate. It's flawless. I just loved every second of it, and I gotta say, it was like one of the strongest debut albums. Like, when they debut with an album, this is like the strongest one I've ever got to see, at least this year. Now, for US debut albums, I have an honorable mention for this one. And then, even though technically this artist had an EP before, Lil Nas X with Montero, I feel was like the true debut album. Like, he really truly took the reins with every single thing that he wanted to present, and Montero really was that album, that first full-length LP, and he just nailed it. And I just got to give him the biggest of props. So yeah, my bad, y'all. Silk Sonic 1 debut album. All right, so now we're gonna move on for Song of the Year. Ooh, I know, y'all. This is time for the big guns. This time for the big guns here. So, my favorite song of the year. Super, super, super hard to narrow this junk down. I tell you, it was really, really hard. And I gotta say, my honorable mention is someone I haven't got to bring up yet, but it's somebody that I finally got to start listening to at the beginning, in the middle of this year, and I am so happy I finally got to listen to her. But HSKT by EHI, oh my gosh, head, shoulders, knees, toes, more, okay, order, bow, hey, more. Oh yeah, so this song is super, super smooth and sexy, and just that groove, that, oh yes, with Weinstein, dude, oh my gosh, this song just, all right. So with Ehai, dog, because there were a lot of little singles that ended up popping up through this thing. Like it ended up having Savior pop up. It had Only pop up. It had Red Lipstick, and I was like, yo, this girl is dope. And then HSKT came, and I was like, yo, this is all me. I love this. And I just was like, yo, I am listening to this on repeat for hours. And yeah, it was like, yo, I love Ehai. I love it. Love her. But there was one more song that I just ended up listening to just a bit more, and it happens to be JoJo's Dissolve. This is another R&B tune. Like, I become an R&B boy. Like, this song, it was just, as soon as it came on with that string bass, doom 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 doom, and then the vocal layering and it's just like, oh my gosh, yes. I just wanna tell you that ever really love me. Oh, it was just like, yeah, this is just, love it. So vocals, bro. And I was like, yo, this right here, song of the year for me. That's song of the year. Now to get to album of the year, and boy, this coming up with this was really tough. Figuring it out exactly what I wanted to say, like definitively, was my album of the year, man. And it was especially with all of the K-pop that I've been listening to, bro. Like, it's been so tough, and I just gotta say, for my honorable mention, it has to be Trying Not to Think About It by JoJo. Yeah, I know you weren't expecting that, right? I've been listening to mainly K-pop music this year, but my honorable mention happens to be this R&B album that was just amazing from beginning to end. But it still couldn't top my favorite album of the year. My favorite album of the year, bro. Like, bro, it's crazy to have to say this, but Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. I know, I threw you for a complete loop. I truly have been listening to K-pop like the most this year. That sounds like insane to say that after both of my album of the year, like honorable mention and winner, are not that. But when I really think about what I loved coming back to and really enjoying the experience of just listening to it from top to bottom, Tyler, the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost was just the pleasantest of surprises. Like, I know he's done hip hop before, like it's his main thing, but you know, seeing him branch out a little bit with Flower Boy, then seeing him branch out even much more with Igor and loving that. But then to see him do this About Face and just going super hard back, like super hard with the hip hop, with the Gangsta Grills incorporation, with DJ Drama, like Call Me If You Get Lost, man, was just an amazing experience. And I can't deny that this was my favorite release this year. Yeah, I may be listening to a whole lot of K-pop, but like these two albums were the ones to break me away from it. They were the ones that made me go, you know what? I'm gonna hop off my K-pop list real quick and listen to these albums because they were just that great. And that's why Call Me If You Get Lost is definitely my winner. And right below that is Trying Not to Think About It by JoJo. Like, these albums were just super standout experiences for me, and they're my favorites. And as tradition, I like to just end this because people like to ask, the artist, hey, what's your favorite song of yours? So what I always do is I just list off my favorite song that I was able to create this year. I didn't do a whole lot of music this year either, a little bit more than last year, which is a good thing, but I mean, it could be a little bit more frequent, and that's what I'm hoping for in 2022. Yeah, I do have an honorable mention this time. My honorable mention happens to be Sign. That remix, it's a Dalsubin song that I was able to remix, and that was really, really, really one of my favorite verses, and two verses that I've been able to put together. Like, when I first heard that song, it was immediately also one of my Song of the Year contenders, and then to even like get that push from Sarah Ryu to go ahead and create my remix of it was exactly what I needed to get my writing process going again. And I feel like I knocked that mug right out of the park. But technically, since I didn't do a full song, that's why it's my honorable mention. But it is super dope to know that Dalsubin heard the song as well and approved of its quality. That is super insane. But that's my honorable mention of favorite song that I released this year. So my first full song that I wrote from the beginning to the end. There's no other artist featured on it. We got Infatuation, and this was the single that I released here towards the end of the year, even though I've been working on it a little bit throughout the entire year, for the project that is now gonna be put on the back burner. But this song was just really fun to finally write, because I knew it was gonna be a song that was going to be catchy, and just kind of give that another song that's kind of like that bridge between singing and rapping, and I feel like could do really well if I decide to push it a little bit more. But that'll end up coming when I come back to that project, as I'm going to be doing a little bit more K-pop remixes for a People's Mixtape Volume 3, which had Comeback released this year, and the Sign remix is going to end up being part of that. So yeah, my favorite Fiyablasta song this year is Infatuation. Hopefully people will look forward to what I'm able to create next year. I'm gonna try and dedicate a little bit more time to getting those projects finished, and continue to hopefully grow this channel more, with more reactions and reviews. I know that takes up a lot of my time outside of making my own music, but yeah, it's been a great year, and there's been so much music that I wish I could have mentioned that was amazing this year, but it's all I got for you guys today. So hopefully you can tell me what you guys thought of this year as well down below. Tell me how crazy I am for my choices, or how much you agree with me, and be upset of the things that I didn't mention. all that is in your capable hands down below. If you would like to join the people who are on Patreon, supporting your boy to be able to keep up this content, then you can go ahead and click that link in the description box. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can subscribe for more reactions and reviews. You can end up checking out a playlist of the other yearly notables. I'm gonna put that playlist on here, and I'll also have more music reviews listed here for you guys to check out, because all of these projects, for the most part, I have done reviews or reactions to. So yeah, until next time, you guys, much love, peace, threes.